Talk us through your analysis of the last game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought obviously we started really slow. It was tough to find anything early on. We knew going into the game those guys were good. We were able to find some things later on in the second half, and then of course the fourth quarter to make it a one-score game there at the end. Wish we'd have came out and played a little bit better, called the game a little bit better. There's a lot of things that we needed to do better in the first half that we couldn't quite get rolling. We get a first down, and then we trip over ourselves twice, and just there's a couple things that just happen that just can't happen, and so we never really could get in a rhythm in the first half. And then second half, like I said, we got some things going. Was able to catch them in man coverage a couple times and hit some balls down the field, and CJ made some plays for us. But like I said, they were really good defense. Give them a lot of credit. They had a really good plan for us, and they did a really nice job.
What was last week like for you, just having to there at the end of the week, going through the birth of your son, and then kind of getting ready for that game and calling that game, and just everything that was going on last week?
Yeah, I have a really tough wife, and so I don't have to worry about many things at home. My focus, and I told the guys, my focus was here, trying to help us win, beat a top 10 team, and I was at every meeting and did everything that I needed to do, and still be able to, at 10:30 Thursday night, be able to welcome Kanan in the world. So my wife is unbelievable. She's definitely the backbone of our family, and kept everything in line while I was away. And she actually got to go home right. Her mom's in town and actually took her home right before the game started. So we had a few complications at the hospital and those kind of things that went on. And there was obviously a lot of thought for my family, but also, I know that these guys here are counting on me, and my wife knew that as well. She texted me when I was asking her how she's doing. She said, "Don't worry about me. You get those boys ready." That's the kind of woman she is. So it was a tough week, not a lot of sleep, but also knew that we had a tough opponent, we had to be ready to go.
You look at Mississippi State's defense. I know Simmons and Sweat really tough up front. What do you think of their defense, especially their front line, and a football player, a guy named Sweat? That just seems like a really good football name,
Yeah, like last week, I think LSU was number 3 in our conference in defense, and these guys are number 1. Like I said last week about LSU, there's not many weak links out there. Same goes for this week. They're very talented up front. I know they're the number 1 pass defense. And a lot of that is because of what they were able to do from a D-line standpoint, like you're referring to. And those guys that you mentioned, they're really good players. I mean, they're being mentioned to be top draft picks, and so we're going to have a great plan, do a great job of going back to what we do, and things that we've done throughout the year to try to help us in pass protection. But it's definitely a huge challenge for us, especially going on the road. I've actually played at Mississippi State when I was in school, and when those cowbells get going, it's loud, and there's a lot of things they try to do to confuse you, and and so we're going to have a great plan and be ready to go.
Specifically, what do you expect out of Boyd and Whaley this week, and just kind of what do you have to do to get the running game revved up?
Yeah, hoping to get Devwat back. I was hoping to get him back last week, and he was out trying to get back. He wants to be out there. Going through some running on the field and things of that was kind of giving him some trouble. So we had to keep him out one more week, and hopefully we'll get him back this week. And then I think Rakeem's going to be okay. It's more of a scare than anything, I believe. And we've got to get back to what we do. I thought LSU, they were good up front, and we were able to cover them up at times and hit some decent runs, and then other times they were able to win at the point of attack and was able to stop us. So we got to focus on what we do, and we got to focus on ourselves and make sure we know exactly what we're doing on every play.
Are either Hayden or Malik ready to help with
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you saw Chase get in there last week and do some things. We'd like to get Malik more involved. LSU had a little bit on a third down package, a little bit of things that could confuse us. Obviously, they got us a couple times on that stuff, but we just felt like Chase and Rakeem were more in tune to what we needed to do in pass protection on third down. Again, they got us a couple times anyway, but just some miscommunications up front. But hopefully those guys can get some more reps to get in there and see what they can do as well.
You mentioned playing at State. Do you remember what year that was and how the game turned out?
Oh man, I think that was either my junior or senior year. I think we lost by 8 or 9 points. I think it was my junior year though, down there in 2007, I believe.
And then having played with the Cowbells, how does that maybe help you prep your guys? Well, actually, your players have experienced it, but
Yeah.
I guess what's it like from a coaching standpoint dealing with the Cowbells when you're trying to get your calls in and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, a lot of what we do is signal-based anyway, nonverbal communication stuff, and a lot of the things that we're going to have to do really just from a snap count standpoint, we're going to have a plan for that. But I'm not really worried about getting the calls in and getting our different things done because most everything we do is nonverbal and using hand signals. So, as long as they don't, fog up the stadium or turn the lights off where we can still see, I think we'll be okay to get our calls. But for the most part, it'll just be from a snap count standpoint. We'll have to have a good job for that.
14 targets, and not a bad guy to target a lot. But how do you feel about diversifying? And you got the ball to Cornelius, and I think Petway caught a couple too.
Yeah, both. Like you said, CJ is a great target. He's a bigger body guy. They were mixing up their coverages, obviously man and zone, and doing some different things. And when they were in their man coverage, we obviously felt like CJ gave us a good matchup on whoever was playing him man. The 2 touchdowns he caught, they were in man coverage, and a lot of times when we targeted CJ, I'm not really remembering any target that he had that they weren't in man. And then you saw, like you said, Cornelius and Petway catch both, their big balls versus zone. And so we just, we found Jared did a nice job of finding the zone there over the middle, and Ty really did a nice job of finding his third target there. And finding Jared over the middle. So, and then same thing with Petway, caught a ball underneath a deep zone and was able to make a little bit of a play there underneath. So I think more of anything, it wasn't really just trying to get one guy the ball. It was more just kind of what they were giving us and what those matchups created early in the game. We tried the same thing, with CJ a couple times, and we couldn't quite get some separation, and later in the game CJ was able to create that separation, and you saw him catch some balls because of that.